Hello, are you following the copper price? Well, in this video I share a few temporal and seasonal analysis of monthly closing prices of copper in US dollar terms from the beginning of 2001 until last month's close. I am Jimmy Lepping, a psychologist and statistician with loads of interests in a variety of research topics, including the financial markets. And since a month and a half ago, I also have my own YouTube channel. So here you see a chart of the monthly close of copper since the start of 2001, represented by the dots, and the blue line is a lowest regression curve to visualize a trend. Basically, although we have seen prices come down a bit from the last peak, over this time window of nearly 23 years, it seems we are still in a pattern of higher highs and higher lows, which is also understood as an uptrend. Then here you see the chart per quarter, which is visually hardly different from the month chart that we just saw. And here in the year chart, we see the same trend. Now, apart from this trend over time, can we say anything about the performance of this industrial metal in different calendar months? Well, here we see the chart for the differences within and between calendar months in terms of the percentage of monthly gain or loss, and we see that differences within months are clearly more notable than differences between months. And when instead of looking at calendar months, we compare the 4 quarters in a year, we see a very similar picture. Now, since copper is a metal that is important for the industry, there is some theory about copper performing relatively poorly in recession times, because this is when the demand for copper tends to be lower than in times when the economy is doing well. And it seems that indeed for recession periods, which are here indicated on the right, the performance is on average a bit inferior, although again differences within non-recession periods and recession periods are much bigger than the difference between these two types of periods. So here we compare four different models in terms of R squared, which is a percentage of variation in monthly performance that can be explained by the model, as well as Akaikis and Schwartz Bayesian information criteria, abbreviated AIC and BIC, which basically help to assess whether an increase in R squared statistic justifies the additional complexity, or we might as well go with a simpler model. Lower AIC and BIC values indicate better models. So here we see that BIC prefers the null model, whereas AIC prefers the model that distinguishes between recession and non-recession periods. And this model explains only about 1.6% of the variation in monthly performance, which is, well, not strange given the chart that we just saw, in which differences differences within recession and non-recession periods are much bigger than differences between these two types of periods. Now, to round off, I decided to zoom in a bit on the relation between monthly performance as a percentage difference in a given month on the one hand, and the occurrence of a recession on the other hand, and I computed the cross-correlation function for these two variables. In this chart, where differences are on the left and so monthly differences, performance differences, so it's actually performance of copper in a given month, are on the left, and the recession variable on the right. Significant correlations in negative lags indicate that the monthly percentage difference in copper price is a leading indicator of a recession, whereas significant correlations in positive lags would indicate that differences in copper prices are a lagging indicator of recessions. Well, in this case, we see that the only statistically significant correlations are found in lags -1 to -7, which are negative correlations as well, and therefore indicate that basically poor months in copper tend to occur in the months prior to recessions. Although again we are talking about correlations of about minus 0.14 to about minus 0.18, which, well, if you square them gets you the R squared statistics. So we are literally talking about 2 or 3% of variation explained, which is not a lot. But at least we do find some evidence of relatively lower performance of copper in the run up to a recession. Now, in the previous months, we have seen a mix of relatively good and relative and somewhat poor performance, with November actually resulting in a positive performance of copper of just over 7%. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you find this useful, and if you have any ideas or suggestions for future videos, you can leave a comment below this video or just drop an email using the email address that I have shared below this video. Thank you for listening, have a good day, and see you soon.